And welcome back to the seventh installment of the Grippin' and Rip It Sports podcast with Stock and Tops. I'm your main man, Tops. This is my boy, Stock. And today we have a very, very special guest for you. Chris, will you please give him an introduction?
Today we're welcoming in our good friend, longtime friend, Ryan Smokey P. Patterson.
Hey, man, I appreciate you guys having me on.
Absolutely.
Pleasure to be here inside the Rolling 7 studios.
We love to get new guests on, and we wanted to get you in early because, you know, you're our boy. And we see that you're doing big things, and we want to, you know, push people forward. We want to, you know, that's how it goes when you're working. You work with people, and you see what you do. You know, like that's what we're doing. So he's the CEO of Bluntonous LLC.
Yes, sir.
What exactly is that?
I like to classify us as a cannabis cultural brand. We do cannabis clothing. We do the cannabis content with JD. Stuff like Puffin' with P, my interview series, and then I have a couple other shows that we've been working on. So, yeah, just stuff like that. We're doing events for the community. So we're just trying to, you know, manifest positivity in the community. Just like my guys over at Hemtrails, they're doing that. You know, helping everybody manifest positivity in the community. And I'm
Shout
just
out
kinda,
VIP Bobby.
Yeah, just doing a little bit along with those guys and, you know, pushing my own message as well.
Absolutely. So those videos you're putting up, you're putting videos up, like interview series?
Yeah, I post those on my Instagram page and YouTube, and you can find that at Bluntonous TV on YouTube. All the content that we've been posting over the last year is all on there.
Perfect. We'll make sure to add a tag.
Right. Yeah, and
tell the videos.
And I gotta say too, for anybody out there that doesn't know of Bluntonous, it's definitely worth giving them, you know, my boy Patterson the follow, just because, like he said, you know, they do a lot of stuff in the community. Everything I see you post all the time, it's always positive. You know, you're always trying to help out, and that's even besides the cannabis stuff. Like you're always trying to make a community a better place, and that's, you know, very important.
Yeah, so anybody that I know that's out here doing something in the community, I'm always trying to promote that because I understand what it's like to have people like myself behind you, and then spreading that message to the next person. And, you know, if what you're doing is right and it's on point, then people are going to take hold of that. And, you know, I only support people who I see taking hold. I'm not just out here, oh, I see you doing something, man, I'm going to support you. I got to see that you're doing it the right way and really see that what you're doing is going somewhere. So when you get my approval, you know, it should mean a lot. And hopefully the community takes note of that. And, you know, do your own research. That's what I'm about. I always see a bunch of different things, like shows with people talking about their opinions and facts. And, you know, what I do is I take that into account and I do my research. And then from there, you know, I can redistribute out that information and make sure it's done the right way.
And you kind of formulate your own opinion, right? Like you kind of want to just take a look at the facts for yourself and digest them and generate your own thought process, right? Like you don't just want to be following what the general narrative is.
Especially in this day and age, you know, a lot of people are so quick to jump on something and ride that wave and feel like, oh, man, this is what everybody believes. So, you know, let me constrict my way of thinking to see why they believe that. And then you fall into that, you know, unification. And I'm not, you know, I never been a person to really fall in line in that sense and trying to be my own person.
Once the internet tells you something, everybody kind of just jumps on that train, and that's, you know,
it's got to be
if the internet says it, it's true, you know.
But the algorithm is true.
Yeah, exactly. But I know you've had some pretty big people on, you know, your interview podcast as well, haven't you?
Yeah, right on. I had some big names. I had Jerry Kay on. I've had who else? Dang, I'm trying to think of some of the bigger. I had my guys from Phil and Ghetto, Las Vegas, Beazle. I had Chef Selena on. I had Wing King,
Brian
from the Wing King on. And we got some bigger names. If I forgot to name your name, I'm sorry. But even I had Hemtrails on. I had my guy Brandon and VIP on from Hemtrails. So we're definitely working towards some bigger names here on season 2 and really kind of getting outside of the community in Las Vegas. We're going to take the show on the road, go out to California, maybe even Colorado. So there's just some different routes that we're trying to go to expand what, you know, Smokey P is putting his hands on. So
hell yeah, man.
It's a good time to be alive.
That is fantastic, dude. It's great to hear, man. Yeah. We're very proud of you.
You know,
I'm proud of you guys.
Yeah, we're rooting for you, man. You know, we want your shit to take off just as much as we want ours. So
yeah, we're all under the same camp. So, you know, it's always nice when you're around a group of individuals who are all striving.
Right.
And then it's like, I see you guys working, so I got to come in and start working because it's like, all right, well, they're catching up.
It's contagious, man.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. We've already done, this is the seventh episode. They're going fast, man.
Yeah. They go fast while you're doing them, and then all of a sudden you're on episode 7. Like it seems like it's been like 2 weeks since we started these bad boys.
So this
That's
is
the type of ride it is.
This is episode 7 of the Grip It Rip It Sports podcast. So,
Lucky sevens.
Yeah, there you go, and rolling sevens too.
I got the mic. I got the headphones on. I can't show them the hat.
Shout out,
Flip it
JD.
around. Got the
And,
rolling sevens hat on.
So, former wide receiver,
Yes, sir.
right? So,
Tight end as well.
Tight end.
Don't forget- and defensive end when I was a child.
and did you hoop too?
Yeah, I played a little high school ball.
Yeah.
Get a little competitive.
But turn businessman, so that's
Business mogul.
It's just
is
a
what we're
whole
trying to-
totally different venture now.
Yeah, and father.
Congratulations!
Yes,
by the way.
congrats.
on number 2.
That's the number 1 title right now is we're father, and then CEO comes after that, and then everything else falls into place. But yeah, man.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
That's
ex
dope.
wide receiver and played a little college ball. Should have took it to the next level, but hey, we won't. Life happens. We all know the
Man,
story.
we all-
I don't have to sit here and
exactly.
beat the horse that's been told 1,000 times,
Yeah.
man. If you've been in this game, you kind of understand exactly where everyone's coming from.
Everybody has a similar story, even though
Yeah.
everybody's story is different.
You either
It's all
have your
pretty much the same.
injuries, you get kids,
Family stuff.
financial issues. Some things just people don't ever understand. And once you're able to accept those factors and move on to the next venture in life, that's the best part.
Right.
And a lot of people get too caught up in chasing the dream. The dream is beautiful, but what the dream is being able to control your narrative and say, hey, I don't have to do what people thought I was going to do. I can do a lot more other things. And that's where
and you can evolve, you know?
Yeah, and that's where I was like, you know what? That's where I got a lot of power from, and that's what fuels me now. Is like everybody thought, oh man, Ryan, you were supposed to go to the league. You were supposed to do this, and I'm like, you know what? That's great because I'm still that same guy. I still have that same fire and determination to be great at whatever I'm putting my mind to. So it's like, yeah, you know what? I am gonna go to the league. I'm gonna go to the league in this cannabis clothing and culture shit. I'm gonna take that shit to the next level and manifest what I want to with that. And so,
Well, and it takes a crazy amount of fire and passion and heart and drive to be successful on the field or on the court. But you can apply those same types of things that motivate you in business and in life, as
Correct.
well. It's all the same across the board. You're going to get out of whatever you put into it
Exactly.
at the end of the day.
And that's one of the things that sports teaches you. From a young age, sports teaches you integrity. It teaches you
Discipline.
hard work and discipline and understanding how to, handle adversity when it comes your way. So when you can actually, accept that maybe, the dream of going pro or, playing a sport for the rest of your life is finally over, you can take everything that you learn from it and that hard work and dedication and whatnot, and you can put it to a company, become a businessman, or you can put it to something else and use all the different things that it taught you to become a better person, better, father, husband, whatever it may be, businessman. And that's just one of the many great things that sports does for you.
Like, to be honest, I really, now that I am a father, I really feel like it should be mandatory for the 1st through 5th grade that you put your kids in some form of sport to teach them those skills, because you see it every day. Like you were talking about integrity and the different, characteristics that you gain by playing sports and being able to be taught different skills. And certain people don't experience that in their everyday regular life. Certain parents don't know how to mimic the type of situations that you are put in when you play sports, the adversity that you face.
There's specific accountabilities that you have to uphold.
Under having your chore, having the thing that, when I'm on the football field, you have your certain keys that you have to look at, or what's your objective on this play, and you have to know that from play in to play out. And that takes a lot of discipline and a lot of focus. You know what I'm saying? Just focus, not even discipline. You can be disciplined and then not be focused in the moment. You get what I'm saying? And get beat on a play. So, or not remember what you're doing. So having that focus and being able to mimic that in a real life situation where you don't have so much pressure on you, but you still know, okay, I remember I can do this. It's easy. When I was under pressure, I could do this with my eyes closed. Now you got me in here in a room and no one's in front of my face, 300 pounds, sweating down my neck. I could do this, no breeze. So it's just one of those things where there's just things that sports and being coached up by individuals who aren't your mother or your father, even if your father or mother coach, even when you're in that atmosphere, it's a different feel. So it's just saying, put your kids in sports. It'll teach them a lot in life. that, you know, you don't have to necessarily sit there and teach them, and they can enjoy themselves while they do
Well,
it.
and you can bounce those ideas. You can bounce ideas off your kids after their sport. So even if you're not necessarily teaching them at practice, like you can, you know, be involved and ask about them, or ask about what, you know, what happened on this play, or you could talk about specific situations, or, you know, like that type of stuff too. If you're, you know, if you're involved like that.
And, you know, so one last thing about, you know, the kids and sports and everything is, you know, nowadays a lot of parents push their kids to want to be the next this and the next superstar, and they put them through all this training. They invest a lot of money into them, and then it's something over time that your kids don't learn to love anymore, and it becomes a job before the, you know what I mean, before the love takes them to where they need to go. And a lot of these kids lose the love for what they want to do, and then they go do other things instead of, I know when I grew up, my mom wasn't like, oh man, you're going to go to the league and I'm going to put you in all these training camps to play football. I enjoyed football. It was something that I really liked, and I was like, oh, I wanted to take it to the next level, and that's where the love came from. It was never like, oh man, you need to train and do this, and that's what I don't like necessarily about sports today, is because all the kids that are in it, they're all in it because they feel like they want to be the next big thing, and they're paying to train. It's like, dude, just go to the park, go play basketball with your friends, enjoy the good 5-on-5 hoop, and if you know what, if you have that drive and that ability to take it there, you'll know real quick once you get to high school, because a lot of these kids are 5th grade, middle school kids thinking like, oh man, I'm going to be the next LeBron James, and then
be the next
they
Steph.
get to high school and understand, oh man, maybe I didn't grow enough, or maybe my athleticism didn't get to the level I thought it would, and now you're looking at aspirations, and then their motivation is dead when they get to college and they never graduate because, oh, I was supposed to go to the league, man, and now I don't want to finish school. I'm not interested.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that's all kids, but there's a vast majority of kids who are falling into that
They get
loop.
caught in that
No,
trap.
what happens is, you know, they kind of get a little bit too, I don't want to say too into it, because I think having idols and having dreams is important, you know.
Always,
looking
yes.
up to those guys, looking up to the LeBron Jameses or the, you know, the Steph
But
Currys,
those kids
whatever.
who aren't academically motivated at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
That's
And I think-
basically what I mean. Is like, you can be all into the sports and want to be the best, but if your academics don't match that same type of integrity, that same type of motivation, that's where you're losing.
Mm-hmm. And
You know what I'm saying?
exactly. And I think that's a responsibility that sometimes falls on the parents.
Correct.
It falls on a couple of different things. And just like you said, if
Mm-hmm.
they don't have that drive to do it academically, then maybe they're missing the point of just a little bit. You know, obviously everybody wants to make it, you know, to the next level essentially, but to have something to fall back on is important too.
Absolutely.
And that's just one avenue sports can take you down, as an education and academics.
And that's where I say, like, if you're not the next LeBron James, regardless of if you go to any professional level in sports, if you don't know how to manage your money, or you are not book smart, after the fact, people are going to be cheating you out of your money. You're not going to know where to go with it. And we've seen the 30 for 30s where these, what's the guy for the Boston Red Sox? I hate to say his name, but he was the best Boston, one of the best, the guy who had the bloody ankle.
Kurt
Schilling.
Kurt Schilling. He had made over $287 million in his illustrious career, and I believe he filed for
He's
bankruptcy.
filing bankruptcy, yeah.
Come on, that's ridiculous amounts of money. If I touched $50 million, I would never ever touch, you know, zero again. I would never ask for a favor again.
Give me
So
$1 million and I'm
yeah,
going to learn
it's
how to
just-
invest it the right way and make sure that money grows.
So it's
I
just,
mean, that's the ultimate idea. I think that with him specifically, that was I know that a big thing that
wasn't it a business he invested
It
in?
was a video game company.
Yeah.
That either that he owned, or he was a huge investor in, and I think that
crashed.
specifically was what went bankrupt.
But see, and
because
that-
he's tied to it.
but at the same
But that's a lot of the things that happens, and that's what they say in 30 for 30 broke. It's that it's a lot of times these millionaires, they get these people coming up to them for them investments. You know,
Mike Moore.
okay, sorry.
you know, they have guys that come up to them saying, "Yo, come and invest in this, or come and invest in that, or help me out, bro. Like, let's do
Right.
this." And they waste that money, and you know, they don't see a return on it.
Right. So
And that has nothing to even do with your book smarts at all. That's just, you know,
that's
how
that's
the
life.
cookie crumbles.
That's how life is going to go.
So that's why I
So
let
sometimes
these.
you just
let-
have to.
If you don't have academics, though, when these athletes, you've seen it too many times. Let's just fast forward or rewind back to the movie that hit our hearts the hardest back in high school, Booby Miles. Oh man, hurts, right? It hurts the heart to hear. Just some of these guys are so invested in what they do physically that what they can do mentally goes to the back, because they never even fathom that having to use this on a high level is
Outside
going to
of
even
their
mean
sport.
outside of sports is ever going to mean anything. And then once that dream is taken from them, it quickly becomes a reality that you don't want, you don't
have
want to
nothing.
face. So
Yeah.
it's just like, that's why I tell kids, like, always going to tell kids, man, that I was always straight A student, A's and B's all the way through high school. I got an advanced diploma. So I can speak from a level of knowing what it's like to make sure your academics are right and you can be a player. You can be cool. You don't have to be a nerd to get good grades and, take care of your business in the school. It's
actually a bigger applause to get good grades than it is. That's like the best thing you can do is to be smart. And it shouldn't be frowned upon to be the smartest person in the room or intelligent. Like that stigma should be
talent will not get you a full ride scholarship.
Should be moved. Removed.
My buddy of mine's gonna love this. The classic saying, "Hard work beats talent when talent doesn't work hard."
Correct.
And that goes more than just the sport avenue.
I use that all the time, bro.
And honestly, different.
You can look at players in the league and nail down guys that pertains to.
Yeah, and different podcasts, but I think that we don't have to get into it. But I think that nowadays we actually look down on intelligence a lot. I think that we put our faith and we listen to people that don't have actual real world knowledge. It's just that social media or reality TV show. Talk, whatever you want to call it.
Jabber.
Yeah, exactly.
That means nothing. It's a lot of it's meaningless.
And we look down upon intelligence nowadays, and that's a trend that we have to get out of.
And that type of stuff is glorified.
You're right.
But sports, great avenue. And I always tell kids to take it as long as you can.
Yep.
Allow sports to give you
opportunities.
as many opportunities as it possibly can.
That's what it does. It opens up doors.
You're going to meet friends. You're going to make lifelong friends in all your sports that you play. You're going to make
look at
opportunities because of networking. You're going to know guy. Like I tell I've told Michelle this all the time. Like we can go to pretty much any city in the United States and I will know somebody there that we can go maybe stay at their house or go have a nice dinner.
Yeah.
Because of how far sports took me through life. That's just that's a legit thing. Like I didn't meet JD through sports, but we bonded over sports. And same thing with Chris, same thing with you. I met you guys through him.
And we all played together.
And you guys played together and we all practiced together back on the years ago out on the field, and look at us now.
I met JD through sports. We had PE together. That's where I met JD.
It's funny actually, Ryan, I didn't meet you through sports. I met you through Crypto Club at Rogage.
Oh man, I was like the king of crypto. You don't even.
And that wasn't crypto.
King of crypto.
It wasn't cryptocurrency either.
Yo,
he was the original crypto king.
Crypto king, bro. I used to smash that shit. That was the funnest. I wish
Dude,
they
that
still
was
do
fun.
that.
That was fun.
Like if they had Crypto Club to this day, I would probably be a part of that. If that was like a real thing and people were still doing it, I would find it and be a part of that.
So
just every Crypto Wednesdays.
Crypto.
Jesus.
Go look it up.
Go ahead.
But all right. So one thing we do like to do on the show is we like to find out the homerisms.
Okay.
So who's
there.
your squads?
Oh, and
in all your in all the
sports.
sports.
Los Angeles Lakers.
Yee.
The Tennessee Titans. Well, I'm going to be switching to a Raiders fan as soon as they come to Las Vegas. Stop with
and
that.
And just like that, the podcast is over.
Dude, I'm born and raised. Just the thought of having a team here is just blowing my mind. So for me to say that I'm not going to be a fan of the team that's here in my Las Vegas city, it would be ridiculous. So I'm going to have to say the Las Vegas Raiders when they come. But right now,
that's
still
just
the Tennessee
next year,
Titans.
Right? Isn't that just next year?
Yeah. And if we don't have Derek Carr or Antonio Brown, I will not be a fan. We have to have both players for me to come attend any games.
Fair enough.
How about
baseball? I like
favorite team?
Baseball. I've always been like one of those Yankee guys.
They're in your face. You get a lot of exposure to them.
Yeah, I love
it's
the
Yankees
easy. Back when Jeter
and they win.
Those guys were playing.
And they always win.
They've had so many guys go down this year, and they're still they went on a crazy win streak, 28-8 or something.
I told you that they
Is
were
the
gonna.
home run hitter guy out there, Judge?
Judge is still there.
He wasn't he hurt for a while?
He was. I think he's back now though.
Okay, yeah.
He was hurt at the beginning of the year. Stanton's still on rehab assignment. The guy that hits behind him
from Miami.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that was a bad. I don't know.
We want to kind of jump right directly. With
I like the Vegas Knights.
Absolutely.
Go Knights, go baby.
We still don't talk about them until probably
that
about
shit hurt.
October. We're not.
We'll talk about them when the new season starts because they were the biggest piece of shit back when that whole debacle happened in Game 7. We try to
Have
shy
you guys
away.
seen any of the Las Vegas Knights out? Do you guys
I never
not,
have.
Not personally.
I don't know
but
what
it seems
any
like
of them look
everybody
like,
else does.
But people do.
I don't know
all the
what
time.
they look like, so I'm just.
My fiance seen bark Andre Fleury one time. That's about the biggest.
Pretty cool.
Sorry to cut you off. Did you guys hear about the Raiders and Vegas Knights charity baseball game going on at the Aviator Stadium today?
Is it?
Or it was yesterday?
That's
it's either
tight.
today or tomorrow.
Are like the players like from the teams playing?
Yeah,
in it?
like the Raiders.
Oh, that's tight.
Yeah, the players. So you're gonna probably get your Antonio Browns, and I might have to go up there. I think it's either today or tomorrow. I'm dead ass.
Oh, that'd be sick.
Yeah. So the Vegas Knights, but everybody might boo them when they come out. So I would have booed. I'm gonna boo them if I'm out there because that was bullshit. You let a motherfucker score 4 goals in less than 10 minutes. That's ridiculous.
Yeah, we don't need that.
Don't
Sorry.
rehab.
Don't bring it up. Don't bring it up.
It hurt. Like,
don't
it just
bring it
hurt.
up.
It just hurt. I'm sorry. All right.
So, with your experience and exposure into the cannabis industry and culture, we figured that this tied up kind of perfectly. And we kind of want you to elaborate a little bit on this. With Chris Long retiring right now, it's come out that he's retired. So, shout out to him. He had a great year.
Amazing
He's a very
career.
productive player for a
Love
very
Chris
long
Long.
time.
Love Chris
We
Long.
love all the
And he
Longs.
stands for a lot more than just football. It's more than that. It's
out
about
to
the stuff that we talked about earlier.
Dude
Like,
donated his paycheck for an entire year.
right.
That's amazing.
I thought it was one game.
No, it was the entire year.
He's a cannabis advocate, and he believes that it should be destigmatized, all around, but specifically in the NFL as well. So how would that work specifically? What are the benefits of it? How can it help players if something that was looked at as this horrible thing actually be good for you, like good or beneficial? Can you elaborate please a little bit on that?
All right, so if you do your research into cannabis, there's a couple different things with the cannabinoids, like CBD. There's different parts of the plant that can help you out in recovery that don't even have to do anything with smoking. Some of these guys can be using creams and different balms and stuff that can actually help the NFL create a better product. So when I think about what they're not doing and what they could be doing, they're essentially hurting their billion-dollar industry, which could be even a larger margin of, making money. Making revenue by, allowing players to use cannabis. Now, I would say because there are psychoactive properties inside of cannabis that can get you high and maybe take you off of your game, but, some players would say otherwise. I know I've played sports on cannabis and I've done better than if I maybe would have done sober. So it's just all about how you feel and how you can handle the plan itself. But as far as as the NFL goes, why would you not allow players to use something that's going to better help them recover? It's not going to give them any advantages per se, right?
Or serious long-term effects either, if it's a bomb or
It ain't like you're smoking a blunt, going to the gym and
some of
putting
these
on
guys
extra
could
10
be
pounds of
smoking.
muscle.
Let's say some of these guys are smoking blunts, regardless.
they
if
definitely
they're
are
not.
50% probably.
But back to, if they can use something in a way, like I said, if they were to use like some of these CBDs and THC creams on these players, and it gave them better recovery, and then it created a better product because less players were hurt on the field, and every player was always there every week,
So
just
less
like on
injuries.
Madden. Like, let's just say if you had the cannabis usage, I'm not saying it would be no injuries, but let's just say you had cannabis usage, and it's almost like the injuries are off, or they're coming back a lot better. Let's just say the quality of the play is better throughout the end of the season because guys are better
They're
repaired,
healthier.
they're healthier, and then week 13, 14, 15, 16, you're not seeing a drop off. You're seeing guys elevating their play and continuing to play at a high level.
Yep,
So
I'm going there.
I believe that, allowing players to do it would be a good, do it in a small sample size and see how it affects players moving forward. And I think that would be your best way to know, okay, is this...
And see, I would attest right to that specifically, just because after my career ended, from baseball, I played football through high school, but I have a bunch. I'm sure everybody in this room can probably attest to themselves how many just nagging injuries we all have.
Yeah.
Just from different things that you hurt throughout your years of playing
Bro,
sports.
we were playing twos yesterday, and my knee is killing me today.
Right?
Like,
But
killing me.
there was this point in time about, I would say maybe a year and a half ago, and I was just intense back pain. They would shoot from my back all the way through my ribs, and I could not. I almost went to the hospital one time because it hurt so damn bad. I didn't know what was wrong with me.
And what did they give you? Opiates?
No, which is
I'm gonna go there.
Go there for go hit that right now, and I'll come back to it.
Okay. Well, no, I mean the thing with you can finish your story, dude.
I mean, it's true though. If I would have gone to the hospital, that's exactly what they would have done. They probably would have gave me some type of painkiller.
What'd you do? You use CBD?
Yeah. So what I ended up doing was I've been hearing a lot of, and this is actually right when your first show came out, the smoke break. So I was always curious into CBDs because in college we all dabbled a little bit, right?
Yeah.
And you never really cared about the medical properties of it. And I firmly believe that, the cannabis use through my college years are the reason that I probably didn't know about injuries that I had sustained.
You're right.
Right? So I looked into, CBDs and whatnot, and I found a cream.
Okay.
Like you said, it was a topical cream, and I started putting it on my back, and I think it was some type of nerve pain that I was having. I used it every morning, every night for probably about 6 weeks because I'd still get the pain every now and again. And if I got the pain, I put it on and it would go away. Haven't had the pain since.
Because what it does? It gets in there. It helps with inflammation.
What
else?
Blood flow. It's gonna freaking do a bunch of there's so many CBDs or what are they? Cannabinoids.
It helps anxiety. It helps insomnia.
If you need appetite, you need to eat. CBD is the way to go. You have headaches, migraines, and then CBD is the stuff that's going to actually help change your cancer cells and stuff. So if you want to, when people think about weed and cancer, you need the CBDs, along with THC to beat cancer, but just to be suppressed, you'll just take your CBDs. But if you want to actually fight the cancer, you need Rick Simpson oil, which is like CBDs and THC and concentrated values and stuff like that.
And ever since.
And the CBD doesn't get you high.
No psychoactive
but
stuff.
I want to say this. Be careful, guys. There's so many new CBD companies. You can get CBD at Walmart. You can get CBD at
I saw it at the gym today.
You can
I'll only get it from an actual
I would
dispensary.
only get CBD from a dispensary. And that's just me personally. But I already know there's a big market because if 7-Eleven is selling CBD at the counter when you check out, that's a big thing.
Yeah.
So just know that all CBD products aren't safe. If you are buying a CBD product, make sure it has a scan code on it that allows you to look up the test results on that batch of CBD. Other than that, you guys do your own research.
I would 100% agree. That's the only place that I will, because ever since then, I've got honeys, I have creams, and I keep one on me at all times just in case.
Now,
if I have pain, I throw it on.
Now, backing up just a little bit, how it pertains to the NFL.
Okay.
And while we're looking at something that really gives these players a relief, it's not allowed, right? And if we're looking at the alternatives, what are these players using for?
But why is it not allowed?
Right, well,
NFL is not a federal league. Do you get what I'm saying? So why would the NFL even at any point consider that cannabis is not a good thing for them to use?
I think that it's probably just because it's a old school mentality. We know that. This is not breaking news. We know that these guys are old school, stuck in their way type guys, right? But all they're doing, they're pumping these dudes with painkillers, it's so bad for you in comparison to the alternative, which is CBD, right? It's a no-brainer that they should be basically outlawing it, but you can't outlaw it because it is a pharmaceutical drug, right?
My bad to cut you off.
No,
I just feel like the only time opioids should be in use is after major constructive surgeries.
Yeah.
Why? Because I've had constructive surgeries.
I've had a couple.
And those shits need fucking painkillers.
Yeah.
Opioids. I don't know if I've never had any strong cannabis, stuff used, but I could just almost think that ain't gonna cut it.
No.
So I ain't saying there ain't no place for opioids to be taken. There is a time and place, but to be giving guys opioids throughout the season to get through injuries and you fight through this and get through this, there's definitely an alternative for game time injuries, like stuff that you can help get
the nicks
through.
and bruises and
stuff that can get you through.
And that's the thing. It's not necessarily you just what you say is correct. You do a ACL surgery or you tear your UCL, whatever it may be. You're gonna need a stronger painkiller than whatever CBD might be able to offer you.
Right.
What the problem that ends up happening
Until we get that science.
True. They do need to research CBDs even more.
Right.
But until that happens, what they do is, it's the naggingness. It's you can't use the CBDs, you can't use the marijuana. I know you said the NFL is not federal, but what ended up happening is a lot of the teams are in states where it's not federally legal.
Well, and the thing is too,
that's a problem they run
CBD is
into.
actually allowed in the NFL, but it's the THC that is what fails on drug tests. But the issue is like separating the two. Like not everybody has the same access.
I think they should be able to have certain levels.
They need to coexist.
Mm-hmm. Like you guys are a $1 billion industry. Allow them to smoke cannabis, and you drug test them every game, and you allow them up to a certain level. So it's like, hey, we don't want you smoking like hella weed before game day. So it's like set that shit at a certain level where they can test their blood level.
Because even if it stays in your system
level.
for months, after a 7-day window, the nanograms are way down. Right. So like after even after like the 3-day window, like you can tell if somebody hasn't smoked for 3 days. Like you can tell.
So I think they can do day before drug tests.
It's so
where
specific.
It's like,
the testing is so good right now, anyways, that they should be able to. They know the
and
difference.
just fine
they know
them.
What's up.
Don't suspend them. Just fine them. How can the NFL be kicking some of their best players in the league off of the field for a product? For something that they need to help their body.
And they know it helps them.
And they
because they feel it. That's why they keep doing it. Trust me, there ain't no guy in the NFL right now that's using CBDs or THC, just using cannabis in general, just because they're trying to get fucking stoned. Okay? I guarantee you most of them are using it because it helps them in some way, shape, or form.
There's definitely some that are out there blowing blunts.
This is my argument.
Like, but
regardless if you blow it in a blunt or not, this is always my argument. 1,000%, Kyle. I don't give a damn. Cannabis, whether you smoke it medically or recreationally, it's still giving you medical properties, and it's still helping you in a positive way. Whether you're smoking it through a blunt, whatever you're doing, it's still going to give you that medical property you intended to smoke it for. Whether I wanted to go to the doctor to get a prescription to be on papers for cannabis, or whether I just wanted to be able to go pick it up without having to go through all the hassle, I still need it for a medical reason. And I think that's what's getting misconstrued in this whole entire thing is like, oh, I need it for medical because I'm a patient and da-da-da-da. Like, who gives a fuck? We all need the shit. It's just a matter of you're on papers about it and I don't want to be on papers about it. I still smoke cannabis because it gives me medical relief. That's why when I hear some people, oh, I'm going to stop smoking at this time. Like, no, realistically, you're just being fake about it because you just want to get high. I smoke cannabis because it gives me relief from different symptoms, and I'm gonna forever want to have that relief. So if
different strains and different terpenes do different things for you too. Exactly. So if you're
there's a lot of research that we haven't done,
knowledgeable about what you're getting and what it's doing for you, it can really benefit you.
Right.
Really, that's another problem, man. Is that we just throughout the years it's been so illegal. It's a Class 1 scheduled drug, I believe. Is that how they classify it in the federal government?
It's a weed.
It's up there with heroin and cocaine, and it's classified exactly the same. It's just there's not nearly enough research as there should be on it, and that's really what we need. We need more research, legitimate research done by actual scientists and doctors to really show.
But we have
a little bit. I agree with what you're saying. We have more than enough to show that there is definitely medical properties to it. But I think that it goes even beyond that we don't even know about yet.
Imagine this, just a crazy thought. Imagine if people weren't using opioids on a heavy way they've been using them over the years in the NFL. And let's just think about, we can't see what's going to contribute to a guy retiring early. But imagine if some of these guys were getting treated with cannabis and some guys who had early careers who, if we could have possibly seen a 10-year career, 15-year career from guys who, what I'm saying, weren't able to because they were on too many opioids and it started to affect their bodies in ways they didn't understand, and then they had to retire. I'm just saying.
It's a good point.
NFL, you guys are probably losing out on money. Allow these players to smoke and use CBD.
All right, moving on. I'm actually really excited about this. So
I love when this happens because I like
What's
taking...
This?
I love when things happen and like I don't know what's going on because we're gonna get something like actually like I don't know what's going on. So let's see what happens.
Legitimate reaction right now. So there was when we were going over what we were going to go over today's segment for NFL, there was something that I remembered that I wanted to bring up on the podcast, but I didn't tell anybody. It's on this piece of paper. I'm the only one in the room that knows about it. So we're gonna get honest, genuine reactions. Okay. I'm gonna give you guys some stats right now, and then I want to hear you guys' opinions.
Oh no.
Okay. Yeah. Oh yeah, baby. Here we go.
This is a trap too. I already know.
You're damn right it is. Okay.
Fuck you.
Person number one. They were. Okay,
Are we guessing who the person is?
No. You're just. I'll
who
get
are you
there.
picking?
Okay. 2 quarterbacks.
Oh.
Record 98, 62, and 1. Completion percentage at 59%, threw for 37,276 yards, 234 touchdowns to 117 interceptions, quarterback rate of 85.6, had 24 game-winning drives, and ran for 3,459 yards and 20 TDs.
I know who that is.
In the playoffs, he was 9-7, threw for 3,700 yards at a 59% clip again, threw 24 touchdowns, 17 interceptions, went to 6 Pro Bowls. The other man, he was 94-71 all time, also went to 6 Pro Bowls, 32,924 yards passing, 61 completion percent rate, threw 165 touchdowns to 141 interceptions, had 20 game-winning drives. It looks like I wrote down 20. And in the playoffs, he was 11-4, had 1 game-winning drive, threw for 3,800 yards at a 63% clip, and had 23 touchdowns to 17 touchdowns. Overall rushing in his career was 17 interceptions. In his rushing career, he ran for 1,000 yards and 9 TDs. One of these guys is in the Hall of Fame. Who do you think it is? Guy 1 or Guy 2?
It has to be Guy 1.
You already know who it is.
I can tell who
It has to be Guy 1, and I believe it's Brett Favre.
Wrong.
Oh, well.
Anything?
Double the yards.
I have no clue who that is.
Okay, so here comes the extra stat. Guy 2 has 3 Super Bowl rings.
Damn.
Guy 1 has 0. JD knows who it is.
Troy Aikman, for sure.
Troy Aikman's number 2.
Troy Aikman, for sure.
So the reason I say this is because Donovan McNabb, he's Guy 1, came out and said that he deserves to be in the Hall of Fame because a guy like Troy Aikman's in there and he had a better career than Troy Aikman.
Can I see the stats? I got to.
It'd be probably tough to read.
I heard.
Hey, I actually like this conversation a lot because I like both of those guys.
Who's on the
a
front?
lot.
Yeah, exactly. He's a Syracuse
both
guy.
Both of those guys are big guys for me. And as
Where's
much
it
as I
say Guy
hated
1, Guy 2?
Donovan McNabb,
Oh.
I would have loved him so much more if he'd gone to any other team.
Well, see,
You know?
and that's the thing that I have on there
Sucks, dude.
is since he's come out with that, since he said what he said,
4 NFC.
four
title
NFC,
appearances.
4 NFC title appearances, 3 losses, 1 win, then he lost in the Super Bowl to the Patriots, obviously.
All right, can
He's
we?
been- go ahead.
Sorry, can we? Because he was coached by a guy who we've known also to have been a choker. Can we equate like his career of not winning a Super Bowl
To being tied to Andy Reid?
Yes.
Sure.
I think you can. I'm just saying he's been getting a lot of flack for that statement. Like Michael Irvin just came out and said that Donovan McNabb was a good quarterback, but he wasn't
You
better
know
than
how
Troy Aikman.
Cowboy Nation is.
Well, that-
Come
that's
on,
the
the
truth.
Cowboys run. Look at. All right, you don't know this. Fuck. Sorry
I might
about
not
the
even have
Cowboys.
to talk about this.
The Cowboys,
This
if
is
you don't
great.
know,
This is going great.
if you don't know, the Cowboys are like low key the fraternity of the NFL. If you play for their freaking team and you ball out, or
You're
do
one of them.
You become part of ESPN network. You get a job at ESPN or you get a job at the NFL network.
DeMarco, Jason
You
Witten.
can Emmitt Smith, Michael Irvin.
I know.
Anybody who's ever put on a uniform for those bums.
Daryl Johnston,
Tony Romo. Come on, dude. Jason Witten retired and came back. Like anybody, if you notice, I just paid attention. Anybody for Dallas that was any good or made Hall of Fame or you won a Super Bowl with them, now you're in the showbiz. So it just goes to show like they're a homer team. And if anything some of those guys say is against somebody else who's not as popular as somebody who won a Super Bowl, he's going to catch flack for it. So I understand what he's saying.
And
But
they beat the Eagles.
Donovan McNabb does need to understand that he did not win any Super Bowls. So at the end of the day, regardless of what happens, you still shouldn't have been a first ballot. You deserve to be in there, I feel. But at the same time, I don't feel like you should be running your mouth so quick. Like you're probably still going to get in, but don't mess it up by talking bad against guys who can actually keep you out.
Yeah, that's true.
The
That's
Dallas
actually
Cowboys-
that's a
and
great
that's what I'm
point.
saying. Like you don't piss those guys off when they basically run the shit.
I
Now you're
think
gonna have Michael Irvin, Emmitt Smith, Troy Aikman, all those the rest of their
Right.
fraternity brothers all
Like-
pitted against them, and don't they all vote?
And the Steelers
Is it
too.
the-
The Steelers
is it-
kind of have. A
Is it the
couple.
current inductees that like the people that are in vote for the Hall of Fame, or is it writers in football?
it's the writers.
I think
so.
you actually once you get in, I believe they do get a vote.
It's the media, I think.
No?
That's the Heisman. Once you win the Heisman.
Oh, Heisman. Okay, one of those they get a vote.
Well, either way, they're in the media anyway, so it's
That was comparable stats. The only thing that I saw that was really different was in the playoff time, the second guy played better. In the crunch
not.
time,
I mean,
you named better
not-
stats.
not necessarily. The
named
overall record is
11 and
better.
4.
The overall record is much
Yeah, the
better.
record-
Obviously,
well,
I'm not
obviously, to
denying.
win Super Bowls, you got to have
But
a good record.
Technically, Troy Aikman was 23 touchdowns to 17 touchdowns, while Donovan McNabb was 24 touchdowns to 17 touchdowns. They
Oh, okay.
both of them threw for about 3,800 yards.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, but here's the thing. They did about the same statistical numbers, but Donovan McNabb had a much greener light to throw and didn't have to hand it off to Emmitt Smith 25 times a game also.
I feel like you almost say like that's a bad thing.
I mean, his
Like,
numbers should be
he
better.
He had to give it
Didn't
off
Donovan
to Emmitt
McNabb
Smith.
have a good running back? Didn't he
Yeah,
have
Deuce
Deuce Staley? What? Whoa! Don't say
Hey.
Deuce Staley. Like Deuce Staley
No,
wasn't
but-
okay,
good.
no, but
okay.
they threw to Brian Westbrook also, bro.
And they
Okay,
had
but-
Brian Westbrook during his tenure.
And
Yeah.
who were the two receivers that were leading the team in receptions?
Todd
Can anybody
Pinkston
tell me?
and Freddie Mitchell.
Greg Harrison.
I
Right
got
and
'em both.
wrong. No,
Todd
the
Pinkston,
first
Freddie
Todd
Mitchell.
You had-
Todd Pixton's right. Freddie
You had
Mitchell's wrong.
Freddie Mitchell out there. T.O.
T.O. was
T.O.
the
was
last
hurt.
year. The first three lost NFC Championship losses. T.O. wasn't there.
But they were good. But they were good with those guys that they had. They had Frank Wycheck.
James
no, that was not Frank
Thrash
Wycheck.
was the other one.
No, that was the Titans who had Frank Wycheck. They had what's the other white Titan?
I'm saying based off the statistics from that year, he had more
It was a
receptions.
big-
Freddie
they had a
Mitchell
big
was
guy.
more prominent in Donovan McNabb's career
I mean,
than James Thrash was.
I'm just gonna ask you a question. If you're a quarterback in the NFL, do you want to throw to Todd Pinkston, James Thrash, Brian Westbrook, or Deuce Staley, or would you rather have Emmitt Smith and Michael Irvin?
You forgot to name T.O.
T.O. was only there for the 1
T.O.'s
year.
better
they
than
went
Michael
to the-
Irving.
Facts.
I'd agree with that, but he was only there for 1 year, and he played in the Super Bowl with a broken fucking leg.
He didn't
Still
play in
played
any
like
of those
Superman.
playoff games either. Sorry, I cut in.
Huh?
He didn't play in any of those playoff games before the Super Bowl either.
Yeah, he didn't.
So
This is cut.
I mean,
Doesn't have to be.
yeah, I would say.
That's what I'm saying. T.O. was there for 1 year, an actual fucking top five. I would go probably number 2 ever, in my own opinion.
Receiver
of all time,
I thought he
behind
played.
Jerry Rice.
How many years did
Okay.
he play in Philly?
T.O. I think was it 1 or 2? Did he play the next year in 05?
He got suspended for the season the next year.
Okay.
And
So
then he went to Dallas.
He was talking shit about McNabb being fat and out of shape. That's why he lost the Super Bowl.
the 1 year that he was there, they actually got to the Super Bowl. So, I mean,
And
did he have the weapons
And
to succeed?
McNabb couldn't get it done.
Did he have
Did
weapons?
Troy Aikman
Like
play?
Todd Pinkston?
How many years did Troy Aikman play after it was
And
kind of like a
LJ
wrap?
LJ Smith, bro.
Like how many years did Troy Aikman stay into
I'm just
the
saying,
league
you guys
after
are-
it was like over for him?
Well, they won a Super Bowl in '96, and then
That
he
was
got
it
punched
after
out in
96.
'99 with the concussion. 2000,
How many years was he in the league?
Aikman?
'89, so 11 years.
Yeah, like 10 or 11 years.
Oh, he played 11 years.
McNabb played 13.
Yeah, he had a better career.
Aikman
Regardless of
had
who
a
he played
deeper
with.
career,
You
man.
guys are saying, I mean, the things that you guys are saying, like you're comparing Hall of Famers to not even close to. Deuce Staley, great running back for his time. What do you have, 2 or 3 or 4 good years, really?
But
If
as
that.
a running back, that's average. That's what you
Emmitt
get.
Smith is, some people would probably argue, is the greatest running back of all time statistically.
If you argue that
Statistically-
Emmitt Smith is the greatest running back of all time, you're not
Shut up.
You're not
That is
watching.
ridiculous.
You're
All the
not
greatest,
watching-
all those great athletes at running back. You're gonna say Emmitt Smith is the best.
No, one's
I'm
saying
not
that.
saying it here.
No one
I'm
here's
not saying
that.
it.
I'm saying what I said is
You
that,
can't argue that.
No, what I said that if you think that Emmitt Smith is the best running back of all time, that
Argue that he
you're
had the
not
best
watching
line.
these running backs run. You're just looking at numbers.
Yeah, that's why I say some people would argue the statistics behind
Come
it.
on, bro.
Personally,
That's-
me, no, I don't
that's
think
the
Emmitt
most-
Smith is even close.
Isn't
I
that
want to
the-
say Emmitt Smith's the best running back of all time, but he's not. So
You know what's crazy is like that's always going to be like the dividing point in sports.
And Kareem-
It's like
Kareem
what
has the
actually
most-
happened on
Kareem
film
has the most
and what
points.
actually was the numbers behind what you did. There's a difference. Like a million times you can watch somebody's highlight. And this guy
doesn't
has
tell the
better
true
highlights,
story.
but he could have like 1,000 less yards. And this guy over here, he was all state and ran for 3,000 yards, but he don't have no highlights. What he did on tape was average and it was mediocre. So we're always going to have this debate about who was actually really great. Like Allen Iverson, amazing, one of the best ever all time, but he doesn't have any of the numbers to go against any of the greats in any real statistical category because he didn't play long enough.
None
he
of
wasn't
them.
there. But at the same time, you're like, dude, if this motherfucker would have played with a couple years or they let him do whatever he was supposed to do, it would have been a different story. So it's always that line in between sports where you're going to say, damn, this guy was amazing, but his numbers never matched up. And that's where we sit with this whole entire thing is like,
Well, for football, it always comes down to Super Bowl, or at least quarterbacks. It always comes down to Super Bowl
Bowls.
rings.
right. So how many does Troy Aikman have?
He's got 3.
All right. and
McNabb's
none
got
of them
0.
have a 0. So I mean,
Well, and that's
I think
where
that
the
the discussion really has to end there in this specific.
the discussion
1 versus
between
2.
1 versus 2, yes, but
Like,
does,
that's it. Like,
should
in
Super
this-
Bowl rings mean that much as much should
For
Super Bowl rings
quarterback?
means as much as they do?
for quarterback, yeah.
nah, but because you know
Do-
why?
are you trying to say that and you're a Cowboys
Whoa,
fan?
whoa.
Hang on,
Don't tell me what I'm trying to say though.
no, I'm not. You're a Cowboys fan. Are you trying to say that the Cowboys during the early '90s And the 96, just the 90s in general, didn't have one of the top 3 defenses the entire time.
They work together, man.
They had Deion Sanders, bro.
Dude, there's just so many quarterbacks out there that have rings
Not
where
for
it's
the
like,
first one.
there's no way this fucking guy should have a ring. If he didn't get...
Okay, but yeah, like
should Trent
Nick
Dilfer
Foles.
have a fucking ring?
No, Trent Dilfer shouldn't, but Troy Aikman has 3, so... What,
Yeah, and he was-
Troy Aikman shouldn't have any because his
Emmett
defense
Smith,
was good, dude?
Michael
Come on.
Irvin.
What are you even
No,
doing?
no.
Weapons
how we
upon
got-
weapons
why are you
and
doing
defense.
that?
Listen, before you guys
Why?
get too lost in this argument, the reason
I
how
don't
we
even
got
wanna talk
here
about it anymore.
is because what we're trying to say is, should we use Super Bowls to compare quarterbacks? And it's like, yes, we can, and no, you can't, because at the same time, you have to count for the defense to do their job, because we've seen great quarterbacks do everything in their power, sling the shit out that ball, and they still
lose.
didn't win one. And that's not based on the quarterback not being great, not a great leader. You cannot sit here and tell me in my face that Dan Marino was not a great leader. You
Dan
can't
Marino's a
tell me
great quarterback.
he didn't have one of the greatest arms of all time. So we have to sit here and take everything into account. And that's each individual person in the discussion being mindful of the fact that, you know what, hey, you know, things happen. But I think our egos get in the way, and we're so bought into liking guys and liking teams that we get biased and we start throwing our ego around instead of like, what actually happened? Was there chances where, this guy had a chance to win a Super Bowl and he fucked it up and he stunk it up? Or was it, damn, he just never had an opportunity because his team sucked?
McNabb was more of the latter.
Did Dan
dude.
Marino ever have a chance
I
where
would say
he was
that-
driving the
that's
ball
correct.
and his team had a chance to win the game when they had that undefeated, or not? He wasn't on the undefeated team,
That was
but
the 70s.
during his entire
72.
career, where there are times, I'm not a big Dan Marino guy, but he's always the big guy to come to name when you're like, who didn't win a Super Bowl quarterback?
Marino's probably number one.
Are there defining moments in Marino's career where Marino fucked it off?
I would probably go to Jay because he's probably the bigger quarterback.
Is
guy,
there
knows
a
more about
defining
Marino,
moment
but-
where Marino fucked off in the
He
playoffs?
made it to the Super Bowl his second year, and then they never made it back.
But in that game, did he fuck it off? Was he like not there for the
I don't
moment?
think he was to blame for that.
And that's what I'm saying. There's moments like there's tape. That's why there's tape, because we can always go back and watch
But
it.
you can go back and blame Donovan McNabb for not winning a Super Bowl.
We
There's
can't. I don't
4
I don't-
years, dude.
But
You gotta tell me that there's-
I
yeah,
didn't
but
watch
Well,
the
but
tape.
see, and this
I'm
is
not
my,
aware of
and
it.
I'm not saying that, and by any means, I'm not saying that Troy Aikman shouldn't be in the Hall of Fame. He's got 3 rings. At the end of the day, he's the quarterback. He's the leader of the team. He embodies those Cowboys teams from the early 90s. He was the leader, right? So I'm not taking anything away from Troy Aikman's career or him being in the Hall of Fame and saying he shouldn't be there. But my point is, when you look at it statistic-wise, the stats are almost the same. So what was the difference that came into play? How does
Super
a guy
Bowl
throw
rings.
for
He
30? No,
won.
not the rings.
He won games.
When I say the differences that come into play, I'm saying the statistics throughout their entire playoff careers are damn near identical. Okay, McNabb played
so what are
16
the
total games.
factors that would make him win games and what would make him not?
Aikman played in 15 total games. McNabb played in 16 total games.
The
Their
defense.
yardages is about the exact same. Their touchdown to interception ratio is about exactly the same.
Fuck on.
All right.
I think we don't put enough emphasis on everybody that was if you give McNabb more weapons, does he do the stats are the same? How are the stats the same? But one guy got 3 rings and one guy didn't get 3 rings
Defense.
because he had a defense. He had better weapons around him. That's what I'm saying.
Not
So-
even better weapons around him.
So
Just say
McNabb
defense.
in my mind, McNabb deserves to begin it. I'm not saying Troy Aikman doesn't deserve it at all. It's just
McNabb definitely deserves to be in the Hall of Fame, but I
We got to cut.
don't know. Today's Wednesday. It starts tomorrow. This will probably come out after that, but
What time the game start?
probably 5, 6 o'clock, 5:30. I bet it's Thursday. So, we have the Warriors coming off of a pretty easily swept under the rug Portland team. Like that was cake. They've been chilling.
I was really hoping the Raptors would get one, or not the. I'm sorry,
Damian
the Blazers
Lillard's
get one.
Damian Lillard's ribs were hurt
Yeah,
unofficially.
Yeah. We know.
I said Warriors in 5. I said that the Blazers would get one.
You were wrong.
And I was wrong, but they did go to. It was the overtime game. That was the one that they should have gotten, and they didn't get it.
Yep. I had the Warriors in 4. That was
I think them sweeping the Portland Trail Blazers is actually going to be like a negative, but we'll see how that plays out.
What you saying?
As
Too
far-
much rest?
No, I just think as far as like what people believe for this series, I think maybe because they saw how easy they swept the Portland Trail Blazers, people might be underestimating what the Raptors are going to do, and that's what I'm saying basically.
well. Toronto just came off of a
Impressive.
jeez, dude. They won four
Four
straight,
straight.
to
I liked
get out of that
I
series,
liked
man.
I liked how the
Unbelievable.
The Raptors won their series more than I thought. The way they won the series was way more impressive than the sweep, just in my opinion.
Yeah.
But
Now, are they overextended now? But that's the thing. Like
I think so.
I don't think.
I do.
I
Who do
don't
you
necessarily
think's more
think they are.
impressive?
I think that it's because of the Warriors are so depleted right now too that it might actually. It's. I don't think that they have, as Jay said last night on Cena's Talk Too Much podcast. I don't think
shout out.
I don't think that they have. Technically, like, I don't think that they've shot their load. Like still think they got a little bit more.
they got a round 2 left.
That's what I said.
They shot their load.
Yeah, that's what JD said. Yeah, that's
So now, do you believe they haven't shot their load because Kevin Durant's coming back, or you think that
We don't want Durant back. We don't want him.
You think Steph just got a little bit left in the tank,
No,
or
no, no,
what?
no.
I think
the
the Warriors
the
will be
Raptors
fine.
still have stuff. The Raptors haven't totally shot their load. I
Oh,
think
that's who you were saying
they
hasn't
still
shot
have.
their load.
They still have a chance to come
Oh,
into this
definitely.
series.
They got what, 2 7-game series now under their belt throughout the playoffs?
The Raptors.
Didn't they go 7 in
No,
round 1?
They didn't go 7 just now.
No, they
They
went
went
six
six.
just now. and
Oh,
then
and 6. I'm sorry. They got 1,
They went
5, 7,
5,
6.
7, 6. Okay.
5, 7, 6. That's impressive. I like that. I like that they've been tested. They've gone.
Some say tested. Some say shot their load too quick.
No, I think the Warriors kind of like shot their load a long time ago. They got tested by.
The Warriors are
They
still in
got
the foreplay stages.
Weren't they in the first round against the Clippers?
Yep.
Yeah.
They lost games to the Clippers.
Clippers took them all the way
They
there.
went to 5, right?
Who did they
round
face in
one.
the
Clippers won
second
2
round?
games.
Clippers won 2.
Yeah.
Who
Went
they
to
face
6.
in the second round?
Houston.
Houston went
Houston should
6.
have got him.
Houston should have got them.
Everybody, I feel like everybody says that
If-
every year. Houston should have got him.
No, if
he
Harden
And
didn't
then
get smacked
Houston
in the
gets nobody.
eye,
Durant went down,
Oh.
and Durant went down, and Game 1 was given to the Warriors. So I mean, like Houston should have had them.
Given hot take.
I mean,
I saw something about the.
there's numbers.
Not disagreeing, I'm just saying
There's
hot
numbers
take.
that back that up. 81 calls that cost Houston 16 points. I mean, it's
How many
it's-
calls that would have given the
That's
Warriors
the
more points?
difference, bro. That's what the end of it was. The differentiating
Houston's
points
planning on
based on the
And that's
the
just
report
assuming that
of
they
the
made
officials.
every single free throw too. Then I'm guessing.
Dude, I didn't read the report. I just saw the numbers. But still, dude, that's
Well,
a lot.
They're
That's a
going to
lot.
shake up that roster now. It's
Yeah,
a
well, I
wrap.
think it's inevitable,
Yeah,
man.
I think the Raptors will be
CP3.
relevant.
You know what I would love to see? I would love to see CP3 get his sorry ass out of there and come to the Lakers. Because that's what LeBron does.
Hilarious that you bring that up.
I don't think.
I
that's a
think
very
I
good
could
fit.
see that happening, bro. Because I saw today that the Houston's front office is definitely talking about shaking up the roster.
Yep.
And that definitely means CP3's gone.
Well-
so if CP3's gone, where does he go? The team he should have been like 8 years ago with Kobe fucking Bryant for another championship.
Funny that you say that
It's too late, man.
because
What?
for our
if
audience,
CP3 comes up and plays with LeBron James, you're out of your mind. They're gonna win some shit.
I want a guy that I know that I'm going to be able to count on in a 7-game.
He didn't get
series.
hurt this year. He played
me-
all the way through.
let me interject, gentlemen.
They've choked. He's choked. He's gotten hurt.
He wouldn't choke in LA.
I love this.
He's long in the
great.
tooth, man.
Dude.
You
don't think
Chris
him and
Paul's not the
LeBron
guy.
James would be lit? That's his best friend. They're always every Instagram video they're turning up together, hanging out. Dude, they would win a championship.
2-3 years ago, maybe. No, but let's get back on track to the NBA Finals
Which
specifically.
we're talking
because
about.
I hate talking about guys that can't win championships anymore.
I just want to. I do just want to say though that
So
we
LeBron
talked
James
about.
can't win championships anymore?
Not this week. He can't win a championship this week.
All right, I got the Raptors winning. I got the Raptors winning
No,
in 6.
he can't actually. No, you know what? Yeah,
In 6?
Bronny Jr.
I got the Raptors in 6 easily. The Warriors might get the 2.
Take off the headphones.
The
just
Warriors
walk out.
might get their 2 in at home, and I think they're gonna do one of those things that they did in the last
You
series.
know the first game's in Toronto, right?
What I'm saying, dude.
You want who's gonna win the first game?
I can see
Warriors.
this is how I see it playing out. Raptors win the first game, lose the second game. They
Split.
come
So
back.
they lose home field then.
They lose home field. Then they come to freaking up north and they beat them like they did 2 in a row. And then they're gonna beat them the next.
so you got the Raptors winning 2 in a row in fucking in
yeah.
Oracle.
I think 2-2-1-1.
2-2-1-1-1. So let's see. We've been on NBA for about 5 minutes now, and you've said 2 things that I wholeheartedly disagree with thus far. Because we brought up the whole Chris Paul thing because I was looking up shit for today's episode, and they're shopping Chris Paul. That's
Yes.
happening right now.
Right now.
And both of we got
He's
three,
definitely-
we got 3 Lakers fans in the room, and both of these guys said, "I don't want him. We don't want him."
Okay, the Lakers are either gonna get Kyrie or CP3. Mark my words.
You would rather have CP3 over Kyrie.
No, I'm not saying. I'm not saying that.
Why are we even talking about Chris Paul coming? Because we don't want him, dude. We don't want to give him $20 million over 4 years, dude. That's not the guy.
If we don't get Kyrie, there's no way in the world I would be like, no, I don't want CP3. Dude, he's the best next free agent point guard on the market. You can't sit here and tell me there's a better player.
We don't need a point guard, bro.
We do.
And he's going to get injured again?
Lonzo and Kuzma in a pick for him? Because that's what you have to do.
I would give him up.
For Chris Paul.
For how old? He's 36, right?
You can't do that, dude.
I wouldn't even give you. Isn't Chris Paul an agent? Free agent? No, they're gonna shop.
He'd have to be traded for.
They don't have to give up Lonzo to get CP3.
Yeah, you do.
Then you got to give up number.
Point guard,
then you've got to give up number 4.
I would give up Kuzma, Josh Hart. Don't they have the Josh Hart kid? I would give up Josh Hart. He's pretty decent.
I just don't think that you
What?
should give up.
Josh Hart.
Josh Hart's the only shooter that
Kuzma's
they have.
the deal. Now, I'm not saying Josh Hart's the deal. I'm saying you give Kuzma, but you give Josh Hart, you give some other guy in a pick.
I would say Lonzo Ball's the deal.
No, you keep Lonzo, bro. You let Lonzo come off the bench. He's not 100% ready. He comes behind CP3, gives you 2 different looks, the same type of mindset. CP3 is more offense orientated. Then you have a guy who's just ready to distribute. He's fast. Oh, man.
Everybody knows that I'm not a Lonzo fan by any means, but anytime if there's a trade made in the Lakers organization this offseason, I don't think anybody tries to trade somebody.
Eat these words. Ooh, I can't wait. Lonzo Ball is the biggest steal in the NBA right now because everybody like you guys is counting him out.
No,
and his little brother's a stud. If his brother's a stud, where do you think he gets that attitude from? He's big bro.
Ryan, everybody like Dan.
I'm not even. Wait a second. Okay. Wait a second. Hold up.
Don't group me into the you guys against Lonzo thing because that's not who I. That's not.
I'm not trading Lonzo for nothing.
Neither am I.
Time out on the field.
LeBronzo all next season.
Time out on the court.
All right.
Yes, 100%. I'm a Lonzo hater. I'm not denying that. But what I was literally just saying, if y'all would have let me finish my point, was that there's no NBA team in the league that's going to trade something to the Lakers and they're not going to want Lonzo Ball back. No way.
When Kyle Kuzma's a star himself.
No, because
Kyle Kuzma's the more proven player.
I think that both of these gentlemen would argue with you right now that Lonzo Ball is the better player over Kyle Kuzma.
Over Kyle Kuzma, Kyle Kuzma dropped 40 like 2-3 times this season. Kyle Kuzma went the fuck off.
But Ryan,
and he's 6'9", 10.
But Ryan, when you're watching the games, he's Captain Jack Sparrow, dude.
Man, right now everybody should be looking at Lonzo as the player who can't stay healthy, can't stay on the court. Don't worry about him.
But people
see that Lance Stevenson. We can trade Lance. We can trade
Lance. You think the Rockets are going to be?
No. Oh my God, Lance fits right into the Rockets.
Let's throw him Lance.
Yeah, on the bench.
We'll take
on the
him
bench.
CP3.
All right, let's talk about the NBA.
13 minutes a game. Lance Stevenson going to come out and fucking ball with James Harden.
He's going to be blowing in ears, all types of shit, bro. He's going to be out there locking it up. I'm telling you.
Okay, so you got the
I got the Raptors in 6.
That was the second most egregious thing you said.
Dan, what's up? What do you got?
Warriors in 4.
You're gonna lose that one. This time ridiculous. Too.
You don't think they're gonna get one game?
No.
All right.
I got the Raptors in 7. That's the same. That holds true. I said that last night actually. So.
All right, this is the mismatch. Nobody can stop Kawhi Leonard, and they've got that big African guy at power forwards.
Pascal Sakim.
Sakim.
That's the X factor.
That's the X factor.
That guy.
Who guards Steph Curry?
If that's whatever guy. What did you say his name is?
Who guards Steph Curry?
Pascal Sakim.
If that guy outplays Green,
which he won't.
If he out-physicals and outplays him in the post, they can win the series, bro.
Not going to happen.
I don't. How do you know that? You don't know that.
Because Draymond Green doesn't get out-bodied or out-physicaled by anybody in the league.
Yeah, he does.
Who?
All right. Did you see how they were treating the Bucks over there? Greek the Freak. Do you see how they were manhandling him?
I wouldn't call Greek Freak going off for like 25, 8, and 8 being manhandled, but that's what we want to call it.
When he's used to putting up manhandling numbers, that's amazing.
I would say the Bucks lost the series because the supporting cast couldn't do shit. Greek Freak still played well enough to win.
Let me say this. This is the factor that I like about the Raptors, and I feel they have a chance. I'm going to say a couple factors. Drake. 2. Drake is going to be at every game. Drake's going to be courtside at every game.
Real quick, the NBA did just actually have a meeting with the Raptors specifically about Drake and essentially asked him that, he's got to tone it down.
Yeah.
He's got to take a step
Doesn't
back.
matter. He's still going to be at every game courtside talking mad.
I just wanted to plug that.
Your Drake point would be better if you were going to go on the tangent of he's been wearing a whole bunch of Golden State Warriors gear.
Well,
so the
he
Drake
did that
curse
on
is
the
going
game.
to
He
be.
did that on one of the game 7s, and they won.
Hey, Drake curse is a real thing. So that's an actually legitimate
exactly.
point.
So if it comes down to a game 7, the Drake curse is going to live, and we're going to win. So
I'll shit my pants if the Drake curse fucking wins out and he just started using it for his own squad instead of against.
That's a very Drake type thing to do.
It would
yeah,
be.
very Drake type thing. But what I want to get back on the actual sports of it is after you saw the guys lose those 2 games the way they did, the Raptors, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then to bounce back and win 4 straight, what it showed me was that this team has the prowess to game plan. And when I watch basketball, it doesn't, like, obviously there is game planning that goes into it, but for the most part, it looks like those motherfuckers just get on the court and
They're
start
just
playing
out-
basketball.
they're out there hooping.
You know what I'm saying? For game plan part. But as far as, like, how they transform that series into, like, damn, it looks like you guys might lose this series or get swept, to, like, damn, you guys shut down one of the best players or the most unstoppable player in the league right now, besides James Harden on a different level because he can shoot. The Greek the Freak can get to the basket like no other in the league right now. So when you see how they switched this, flipped the script in that series and came back and won so dominantly and looked impressive, it lets me know that if shit gets rocky in this series, they can maybe game plan, put together something that's going to change the flow of the series. It ain't going to be like, oh yeah, we're just going to come out here and get our ass whooped 4 games in a row without Durant. If they had Durant, I could maybe feel differently about this, but with the numbers being
They're
down,
better without Durant.
No, they're not, bro. They're not.
32-1 now
Chemistry-wise,
without Durant.
that's just like saying, yeah, my car runs better.
They've lost 1 game
without
Durant not
like
in the lineup.
putting
Yeah, my car runs
87
better when
at
I have
80
less people in the car.
It's
but
like, my car runs better when I put 87 in it instead of putting 91 in it. Like that's like,
Dude.
But, all right. So with these
Stats
two teams,
say different.
I think that the what's getting dismissed here is kind of tied into what we've talked about with Kevin Durant in the past. Is that I think he's really hurt. I know that.
Oh, yeah.
I know that
He's done.
I know that he
not
traveled
playing this
traveled to Toronto ahead of the team, but I don't. He's not playing game 1. I doubt he plays in game 2. And we're on the train of it's a hidden Achilles. That's kind of what we believe, a hidden Achilles tear.
Yeah,
think
because they
that's
don't
true.
want him to.
Yeah,
they don't
want to
want
have
people
to
to write
worry.
him
They want to
off.
have to think about it.
Well,
Exactly.
they're making Toronto, like you said, they're making Toronto game plan for if Kevin Durant comes
It's
back.
not, and
That's
that,
all it is.
He's not going to.
Yeah, so now you've got no.
If I had to bet any amount of money, I would probably easily bet like $500 that he tore his Achilles, and I don't need a doctor to tell me. I
watched
saw
it,
exactly
dude.
what
Yeah.
it looked like.
It'll
It
come
looked-
out after the season that he's got a partial Achilles tear or
and,
something.
yeah,
I saw
partial
Kobe
Achilles
walk off the
rupture or
court,
something like
and I
that.
saw him walk off
is
the
the same
court.
thing.
It was the exact same thing. You can't tell me
With-
shit else.
With the Raptors though, the Warriors. DeMarcus Cousins still hurt,
He's done.
right? Like
Yeah.
he's probably going to make it back, but how game ready is he going to be? We saw how long it took LeBron to come back
The
to back
pulled muscles, man. I'm telling you, and
from his groin. And is he going to be more of a cog in what they're doing, or is he going to
He would mess things up.
exactly he can mess up the
Because he's
flow.
not at 100%.
The Raptors have a lot more depth and ready players right now. The Warriors are marching out guys like finally over the hill, Sean Livingston.
Yeah.
Quinn Cook is not playing as good anymore.
Dude,
Jacob Evans is getting minutes. Alfonso McKinney is having to play. Jonas Jerebko's playing.
Who?
Yeah. Jordan Bell is getting
Who?
run. Dude, all these guys are having to play
Dude.
big minutes now. And I haven't seen it from Jordan Bell picked himself up nicely in the last series, fine. But what is going to happen when these guys have to go against the Raptors team who, much like the Eagles in our last segment, have been knocking on the door, dude. They're here, right? And Kawhi is a player that has won 2 NBA championships already. He's an NBA
Has the
Finals
caliber.
MVP. He's been there. He knows what's coming. So
God forbid.
I don't know. I think it's gonna be real.
Look
good
at this.
series.
Did
Hold on.
Kawhi Leonard ever play against the Warriors?
This is something. Yeah, he did.
Yeah, he did.
With the Spurs, and he hurt his
and
ankle
he
in the
owes
first game.
and he owes them revenge
He owes
from
them
that.
revenge.
So now we got revenge on the mind.
Yeah.
When Zaza rolled up underneath him and rolled his ankle or his foot, yeah, dude.
Hey,
he owes them
on a
big
on a
time.
serious note, brother. After he named off the names, there's no depth. God forbid Klay Thompson or Steph rolls their little light-skinned ankle,
Steph's
and
already-
then they're
Steph's-
out for like 2 or 3 games. Then who they got left?
Steph's
it's just
dealing-
one guy.
and
It's only
Steph's
one
dealing
splash,
with the
bro.
dislocated finger still.
They're a bunch of biracial
Right, so,
angels.
I'm just being honest. If either one of their key players that's left now goes down, it's a
They're so good that it doesn't matter how mediocre
Raptors
their
are
depth
playing-
is.
Let me say
they
this.
play up to what the other players on that team play to.
The
and
Raptors
it's
are
gonna
playing
happen
better
again.
as a team.
Are they?
Van Fleet's been ever since he had his son.
Don't talk to me about Fred VanVleet. You ain't got. I won a lot of money off the Wichita State Shockers, baby. I love Fred VanVleet.
Yeah, Fred
Well,
Van
he's-
Fleet,
he's
Jeremy
playing a lot
Lin,
better since
Kyle
he had his
Lowry,
kid.
Norman Powell, Danny Green, Kawhi, OG Anunoby is supposed to be back.
Look,
for
it's going to
this
be funny
series.
because watch what's going to happen. I'm going to tell you exactly
Pascal
how the narrative is going to go.
Marc Gasol, Serge Ibaka.
You already
dude.
told me. You said they're winning
No, look
one
at-
game in Toronto, and then Toronto's going to go to Oracle Arena
And win a
they're
game.
going to win.
Let me say
both.
this: I see
No.
I see the Warriors winning game 1, and then the Raptors are going to win game 2 because they're going to have to adjust for what they're bringing to the table. They're going to fill them out game 1, and then I promise you the Raptors are going to win 2 or 3 games in a row after they lose that first game, and it's going to be a whole different type of intensity. They're way too deep. They're playing a lot more physical ball, and their game travels. It's just that simple. They came to Milwaukee, smacked them up. They were down, came back, fought through. I'm telling you, Kawhi is a different type of player.
You've got Danny Green, and you have
Championship
Kawhi Leonard.
caliber guys.
That's where I was going with this. You have 2 guys, at least that I know of. Does anybody else in that squad have any championship experience?
Serge has played in the
Yep, Serge Ibaka.
With who?
The fucking Thunder.
Oh, okay, back in when
he
they
was
lost
20.
Harden, Durant,
Okay,
Westbrook.
so he's got 1 year. Kawhi's got
No,
a
I think
couple.
I think he went like 2 years. Did they?
Okay, so he only went
Well,
once.
he's got deep playoff experience. Just say that.
No, how many? I'm talking championship
Champion.
experience.
Okay, that's another.
He's got
player.
1 year.
So
you
that's
got
3.
Kawhi that's got a couple, and Danny Green that has a couple. Who else?
That's it.
You're
That's
talking
it.
about a team that's won 4 NBA championships
But dude, they're
that have guys that have
they're
fucking
all right,
championship
fine.
experience.
But they're
Who on their
they-
team has all 4 of those that are still playing with them? I'm asking you a serious question since you brought that up like it's a serious factor. So who
Steph?
all from their team was all on the team for the 4-year championships?
Steph, Draymond, and Clay.
Okay, 3. You're only naming 3 players. That's the same amount
There are
of players.
3
that have
major
champion-
players that
but
went
you're-
73 and 9.
But I'm just saying you're talking about
Right.
players that have
That lost. I
champion.
mean,
But here's
they
the
lost
thing.
that,
But you
but-
just named 3 other players on the other team
the
that have
Ra-
championship
the
experience
Rap-
as well.
with
1 loss, 2 wins.
We're not
2
talking
wins.
about the wins. It's about if you've been there, brother.
That's what we're talking
When you
about.
talk about experience, about Super Bowl experience, it's not, oh, he lost 1, he won 1. No,
With-
how many
There's
times
a
have you
difference
gone?
between experience winning a championship and there's experience that comes from losing a championship. When you win them, that's way more experience because you know how to get shit done in the crunch.
Kawhi and Danny Green have won them.
That's it. They won 2, right?
And Toronto with Durant and Boogie, Toronto here, players 5 through 10, those players are better.
Okay, but
All right,
but Golden State's 5 through 10 is going to play better because
No,
they're
they're
the
not.
better team.
No, they're
I mean,
not.
it's-
They'll-
it's-
those guys
it's
are
very matchup.
Watch,
The
once they
matchup
start
is good.
sucking it up, once the bench for the Warriors starts sucking it up, everybody's gonna be like, "Oh, those players, they're not that good. They suck. They don't have Durant." I already hear how the talk's gonna start because those guys that he named, they ain't shit. Kevin Bell, all those no-name guys,
Jordan
they
Bell,
suck.
McKinney.
They are trash,
Jacob
garbage,
Ev- Jacob
pale
Ev-
kids.
Jacob
If they
Evans.
come out to the court in the finals, they're gonna stink that shit up, and you're gonna see it
Just
firsthand.
Like the garbage pail kid, you scratch it off. And
If
get a
Drake
little
don't go,
sniff.
I said if Steph Curry don't go for 30 each game, you're gonna be looking at the new
It doesn't have to be Steph that goes for 30. It could be Clay. Could
Clay
be
or
anybody
Steph.
else.
You hear
Could
what
be
I'm saying.
anybody else in that team that go for 20 or 30. It's not going to be close.
There's only 2 guys that can go for 20
no,
and 30.
because I guarantee you any of those 5 through 10 that you're talking about can go for 20.
When the last
Easy.
time Draymond dropped 20 points? Look it up.
Look at game 1. We'll see what happens. Which is the coach who coached Kawhi Leonard of his entire early career and the guy he won 2 NBA championships with.
Mm-hmm.
So what is Kerr talking to Greg about at that dinner?
How the wine paired with the steak.
That's 22-ounce top sirloin.
$150 steak. Yeah. That's what they're talking
I
about.
think he's trying to get some info on how to stop the guy, but can't.
I don't
If
think
anybody has info, it would be Greg.
I don't think that there's
But
just
why
like
would
a
he-
secret folder that like Pop holds that
Top confidential, top secret.
Kawhi deception or something.
The Kawhi Leonard, the robot.
Yeah. They just have to.
That's pretty fucking good.
Oh, I saw the funniest meme. It was a video of some dude trying to start his car, and it was just
Kawhi
Leonard's
Leonard.
laugh. He's like, "What the fuck?" Oh, I gotta find it for you. But
If we find it, we'll put
Yeah.
that right there for you.
yeah, I'll get it for you guys.
That shit's funny. But okay, before we segue into the next section, we did want to go. We thought of a good question while we were actually behind the scenes, and it was just because it's something that we argue about all the time on every sports show. They argue about the big 3 super teams, whatever. If you were back in the 90s, we're going to go 95, 96.
Okay.
Troy Aikman was better than Donovan McNabb. Because he has 3 championships and 0 losses, the same way Jordan has 6 and 0.
How many comes in threes?
Fuck you.
That's good stuff.
Good job.
Yeah, but the question was, if you can put together a big three in 1995-96, the year that the Chicago Bulls and Jordan win 72 and 10, what is the big three you're putting together to take down the big bad Chicago Bulls of the 90s?
You get to pick 3 guys?
Yeah, you get to pick 3 guys and put them onto a team. You could take one guy from a team and add 2 to him, whatever you want to do.
I would probably take. I think you got. All right, so like, dude.
Penny Hardaway.
Yeah. How are the Bulls going to stop a team like Hakeem, Shaq, and Penny Hardaway, or Shaq, Penny, and Reggie Miller, or Mitch Richmond? Mitch Richmond, Reggie Miller, and Hakeem.
I think your second one was better than the first.
Yeah.
The problem with Hakeem and Shaq on the same team.
too
Granted,
many.
that's amazing.
Who's gonna
fucking
guard the
front court
guard play?
Exactly. Is the shooting? How the fuck do those guys get out and guard the shooting?
Get to
when you have
Kerr.
Reggie,
Yeah, I like
that changes things.
Yeah, he can play defense and he can
So
answer.
you put like
threes.
Shaq, Reggie, and
Penny
Penny Hardaway out there,
That would have been a nice little.
or Mitch Richmond instead of Reggie Miller.
I like Mitch, but I
I'd probably
think I would
take
go
Reggie
Reggie
Miller,
over Mitch for sure.
Who? Mitch? Who?
Mitch Richmond.
I don't even know who.
He was number 8th in scoring that year. He averaged 20.
But you got to remember, whoever you're putting, you need a center, but you got to remember, whoever you're putting at center has to go up against Dennis Rodman, who was still probably the best defensive player in the league at that time.
That's great, but they had Luke Longley and Bill Worthington for guys like Shaq and Hakeem.
Dennis Rodman covered Shaq.
He would still
Dennis Rodman covered whoever the best guy was in the front court.
and Shaq would still dominate and eat Dennis Rodman.
That's
alive.
actually not true.
Come on,
Dennis
man.
Rodman actually dominated Shaq his entire career.
Whoa! I need the stats to back that up because Shaq would be appalled
Ask this man right here.
Here's the thing.
behind the cameraman.
If we're playing park and we're running,
Best defense out of anybody on him in his
great,
career.
great,
Him and
great.
Olajuwon.
If we're playing park and we're running threes, like Dennis Rodman's going to have Shaq's a tough cover for Dennis Rodman in that situation.
Yeah, if you're running threes, but I'm saying history, body of work in the
If
NBA.
you're playing at the park, I'd rather have Rodman because you ain't shooting no free throws.
That's true too, and they're just gonna hack a Shaq.
you don't have to
the
worry
entire
about
time.
Shaq.
It's not like Rodman could shoot free throws either, but he's
But
just
still,
gonna
I'm
hack
just
them the
saying,
entire
like,
time.
yeah,
I wouldn't get hung up on the free throws here.
True.
I'm just saying at the park, there's no free throws. So what I'm saying is I would just pick the player that I feel is going to run a little bit better, score, do a little bit better, and I'm maybe looking at if I don't
Rodman
know.
over the most
Well,
dominated
what
player of all
Shaq?
time,
What Shaq are we talking about?
95, 96 Shaq.
who was
Okay, young
third
Shaq-
in the league in scoring.
But he wasn't as dominant in the post as he was like later in his career when he had a little extra 300 pounds on top when he
Okay,
was
so
like
you-
manhandling guys in
so you
his
take-
early 30s.
All right, so-
I like that Shaq because it looked real easy.
So Hakeem then. I mean, Hakeem was really, really easy in '95, dude.
Okay.
Just won a championship.
If I'm picking three,
Did I get a 3?
yeah, go ahead.
Okay.
He's here.
Okay. I would take Gary Payton at point guard.
Oh, see, I was going Gary. I was
would
gonna
take
go the
Grant
glove.
Hill as my wing, and I would take Shaq Daddy at center. Those would be my big 3.
Ooh.
Okay, I see it. I would have where I was going. I was gonna actually. It's funny because I was going the glove.
I like Gary Payton better. I'm
Just
sorry,
the
not
defense.
Gary Payton. My bad. I was gonna say Penny. I like Penny Hardaway better because his size matchup. Even though he can D up, I think he's a better matchup. I'm not saying 1-on-1, but if we're just thinking like a 3-on-3 type of thing, I would like him to guard Jordan better than
But
I
see,
would
I
Gary
think if
Payton.
you-
Even though he's the glove, I feel like Jordan can start to get in a little fadeaway on him. It'd be a little bit harder on a Penny Hardaway.
Now, fact. I was gonna say fact check me on this, but if I had to go back to the Bulls championships and look at efficiency ratings and things like that, I think statistically Gary Payton played Michael Jordan the toughest out of all 6 championships,
His 2 worst games.
which is
5
why
for
I would take Gary
25.
Payton.
All right, but like, hold on. Who did he play in those finals? He played against the fucking Utah Jazz.
No, Seattle.
No, that
He
was
played
Seattle
He
when he-
played Seattle.
No,
one time.
You said compared to his other 6
I said-
championships. You said Gary Payton played him the hardest out of all 6 championships.
Was Gary
So what I'm
Payton the
asking
best
you
player that he ever went up against in the finals?
Exactly.
I
And
would
that's
say-
what I'm trying to get at.
He's the
Defensive
best
player.
person that ever guarded him in the finals, yes.
All right, but that's statistically. Is there a player that's ranked higher on the NBA all-time list than Gary Payton that Michael Jordan had to go against? Because he beat Magic.
First ring was against Magic when they were
L.A.
Yeah, but that doesn't. That's
was
a ring,
old Magic,
That's
but-
a ring where Magic was not Magic, and
Kareem was out,
Kareem was out.
Worthy
Worthy
was
was
hurt.
dead. Like
The Showtime Lakers weren't Showtime.
That wasn't
but-
Showtime. So that
So who
begins
else did
the
he
whole.
beat? Who else did he beat?
But he beat everybody else in the league. It's not like
Suns and the Jazz twice.
Exactly.
Charles
the
Barkley,
Jazz
man.
twice were just very like they were
the
impressive.
Jazz were like
shot.
by far the best team in the West. Like it wasn't even those 2 years with Stockton and Malone and Hornacek. They were dominant in the West.
Yeah, they used to whoop ass
They
every
had a
fucking
specific
night. I used to be
formula that
mad.
worked very well.
They used to whoop
Screen
ass.
and roll, pick and pop.
Pick and pop like a motherfucker, and then you had the mailman
So that's
coming down.
so that's what I was doing. I was gonna go Gary at point, and then I would. I was thinking about a little bit of Sean Kemp, but I'm thinking I'll probably go. Just because they beat the Supersonics, I can't have Gary and Sean. on
There's
the same
guys you could
team.
have take.
Something
You could
that
take
just-
guys over Sean Kemp.
I had
dude.
a
You
quick-
could,
Exact- I was
you could
gonna go
take Glenn
Carl.
Robinson. You could take Larry Johnson. You could take.
something that just popped in my
You
Here,
could
head.
take
this is-
Glenn Rice.
This is where I was going. I was gonna go Gary Payton, David Robinson, and Reggie Miller.
I like that. The Admiral.
I like David Robinson.
You got a guy in the paint that's going to give Dennis Robinson problems because he's physical. He's going to be able to get boards. You got shooting out on the perimeter that you can space the ball with. And then you got Gary who's going to not stop Michael Jordan, but he's going to put up a good game against him. That's my three.
I just had this is kind of like a little bit off topic, but it popped in my head. Who would you guys take better all time? Charles Barkley or Karl Malone?
Post Malone.
Post Malone all day, baby.
Man,
White Iverson.
I am always tired. We're plugged in, Ryan. I don't know if you know this. We know we know what's going on.
Yeah.
Fuck, man.
Who was the first one?
Karl Malone.
Yep, I know
or
that one.
Charles Barkley.
I'm
Neither
not
one won a championship.
Yep.
I'm not a Malone fan, but I feel like it's Karl Malone. I guess that's my personal feeling on it. I think Karl Malone, which is an all-around. I think Barkley he's right there with him, but I would probably give Malone
They're
the
very
advantage.
similar players, like very, very similar. Charles Barkley's a little better scorer. But Karl Malone has the super longevity, man. I don't know that you could take that away from him.
He's second all time, right, in scoring?
Who was the better Twin Tower?
Hakeem or Ralph Sampson?
Tim Duncan or freaking the Admiral? I'm talking about those two guys. The Twin Towers. I didn't even know anybody else in the league was called the Twin Towers.
Olajuwon and Sampson, I think, dude. Right?
Fact check.
People just use that shit if they have two monsters.
Two big guys in the
I
front
thought that was
court.
like one of their like.
That was one of their monikers, sure. But
Okay.
it's- you do that-
For you, I gotta. For
you
your
get two
question,
monsters down low.
for your question, I'm going Mr. Fundamental.
Yeah, Timmy.
I'm going Tim.
Yeah. I don't think that you could take anything away from anything that he did. I mean,
David got one championship.
his rookie year, they got a championship. And
And then Tim won 4 more.
yeah.
Didn't he go to Wake Forest?
Yep.
Ooh, Chris Paul went to Wake Forest too.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
You know where Chris Paul's not going to go?
It's a conspiracy. The
Lakers.
All right, on to the next.
You can't trick us.
All right, moving on into baseball then.
Yep,
Last section of the day.
Yeah, Carlos Correa's come down with a fractured rib. We're looking at 4 to 6. It's probably going to be longer.
Yeah, most
you know this
likely.
thing with Correa. He's always banged up. He's a generational player. He's a first overall pick.
They just can't stay
and
fucking
he
healthy.
just can't stay
Healthy.
man. And it's the narrative that you see a lot of these guys fall into, and he hasn't been able to shake it yet. Here we are again, right?
That's a damn shame.
Yeah.
They're going to be fine. The Astros are going to be fine.
They got enough dudes
This is not going to hinder their.
No.
Don't
their-
they have
their-
Verlander over there?
Yeah.
They got Verlander. They got Cole.
Garrett Cole.
He's throat dropping dick.
They
out
still
there.
got Brad Peacock. They got Altuve. They got a whole bunch of dudes.
Bregman, Springer.
Springer. Yeah, they're fine.
They're
It's
more
like
than fine.
It's like
Is Pujols going to retire this year?
possibly.
He should.
He's old.
Just
but
collect the money, man.
as I say, it's not like baseball's not a sport where you can't keep playing it.
Somebody will pay him. To
He's
come,
in the
come
AL,
DH.
so he could just be a DH.
Yeah, designated hitter.
They
He's
run
hitting okay
They
this
run
year.
into issues where he has to play with Ohtani back.
Yeah.
Astros, they're gonna be okay. I saw that yesterday. They were like ridiculously favored to win the AL West. Like
Were they?
minus
Well,
2,000.
it is Memorial Day, and we don't have it on the board, but normally Memorial Day is kind of that time period where you start looking at baseball standings and you kind of have an understanding of
Who these
who's
teams
gonna
are.
be. Yeah, exactly. Who's going to be where when the season ends. And
Everybody kind of looks like they're still close right now.
yes and no.
I've been seeing all the wins in the 20s
The,
and
the East is AL East is kind of open still because Boston's hanging in there. They're playing better baseball, but the Rays and the Yankees are still close at the
How
top.
can you catch the Yankees, man? They're just they've been on fire.
Yeah, and that's what I think
28
they're
and 8
going to
in
be
their
fine.
last 36.
Man, the
With guys
Central.
hurt.
Whenever isn't CC pitching good this
This is
season?
his last year, and he's pitching okay.
He's pitching fine.
He's pitching the way
He's
pitched for the
formidable.
last-
He'll give
for
you
the last
6
3
innings.
He's
years,
not
yeah.
usually whenever he's pitching decent or not pitching in the shitter. The Yankees are usually doing decent.
And James Paxton just came back too, so that's big for them.
That was a big acquisition for them last year.
Who's their ace right now?
I mean, Severino's out.
Severino's
Jermaine,
out.
Jermaine,
The way he's been pitching, yeah, it's probably Jermaine.
and he's like the
they
the
have-
afterthought of that rotation, but he's like the
He's a young guy.
unsung hero where like everybody's
Don't they still have Tonka or no?
Tanaka, yeah, he's still there.
I thought he was supposed to be their ace.
he might be their
kinda
number
fell
one,
off.
but he's
He's
not.
probably the number one in the rotation.
Yeah, but that other dude's pitching just has really been pitching well.
Paxton probably should be the number one stuff wise, but
Okay.
And if
They
if
have
Severino
dudes.
didn't get hurt, Severino was not their ace. So they're very deep with their starting pitching. Even though they've got some guys nicked up right now, like
they're still going to be fine.
yeah, they're just a team that can just
the
keep
Twins are kind of running away with the Central right now. Their offense is just phenomenal. The Astros are kind of running away with the AL West.
winning. No surprise.
The NL East is still pretty close. The Phillies are still, I think, on top.
Do the West. Yeah.
The NL West.
Yeah.
It's still the Dodgers are kind of the Padres are keeping it close.
Padres
It's
are
Padres
nice.
and Dodgers are on top of it.
We
the
wanted.
West right
I
now.
wanted to pick them to win the West, but I just couldn't. I had
The Padres' young pitching is pitching
yeah, I wanted
very well.
to, but you know how much longer is that? We don't know. They're
How long
so
have they
young.
been putting their team together now?
I mean, they've had like
They got one
they've
of the
got a
best farm
couple
systems.
staples, and they're deep, but they're young, and they haven't really put it all together. So like, they're a problem now. Finally, they're no longer the laugh. They're no longer the Browns.
They're
you know?
up there with the Dodgers in the NL West. They're still competing. And then the Central. The Central's probably the most competitive.
Yeah,
You
which
got the
le-
Cardinals, the
which
Brewers, and the Cubs are on
leads us
top.
right into our Cubs watch.
I remember you talking about Phillies. Didn't our guy Harper get traded to the Phillies?
He signed with the Phillies for $330 million for 13 years, and he's been booed about 330 million times thus far this season.
Hasn't he been a guy who hasn't been really able to
He's
put
a-
it together?
He's underachieved. He's always been a second half guy too. So we'll see how this.
I remember when he was hot, it was him and it was the Chris Bryant kid, and then after that you had what's the guy over? What's the other guy's name? The Ulick? Is he the like next big
Yelich?
Yelich.
Is he like one of the
He
bigger
won-
names
he
like
won-
bats right now?
Yeah,
that's
he's
up and
leading
coming guys.
outside of Cody Bellinger. He's top of the NL
Cody
too.
or is it Eric Bellinger? I thought.
Cody Bellinger
It's Cody
and
Bellinger.
Christian Yelich are like the
Two
two
big
top bats in the NL right
And
now.
Yelich, he started off the season absolutely on fire.
And how's Trout been? I haven't seen his
Trout's
name.
Trout's gonna do Trout things.
Trout's doing
Because I know
Trout
ESPN
things.
like 2 years ago, they were like, you couldn't watch ESPN without Trout jumping across the screen and
He's
doing
still
all
doing
that.
still right there, dude.
Is
hitting
he,
3
how's the
something.
bat though? I want to know is how his bat's
Home got enough. He's doing fine. Hitting
okay.
over 300. The shit that he could do if he played for a better team would be amazing.
Okay. Right on.
They're stuck without. They're stuck with having to play Pujols and Ohtani.
So
But
Cubs watch.
in Cubs watch this week. Right now, there's not too much new news going on with them. They're still playing pretty well. They've lost a couple games. They're
Yeah.
30-23 as of today.
So the
Wednesday,
NL Central is the
29th.
toughest division, I would say.
Do the Cubs have the most iconic baseball stadium left standing right now?
I think Fenway's still more.
Fenway's probably
I don't know.
more.
Boston,
and-
the Wall.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Wrigley's a dump. So you could.
But it's up there. Yeah,
It's
up.
it's
It might
it's
be
historical.
two. It might
but
be
it's a
two.
dump.
People might tell
It's
you it's
still a
one,
dump.
but those people just want to be there for being there, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I'm not gonna lie and say that Wrigley is not historical because it's so old and it's still standing. But it is a dump. It's a terrible
Do
stadium.
you think they're due for a new stadium?
I don't think they'll ever get rid of it.
Okay.
They'd be stupid too because that's one of the reasons that the Cubs. I mean, granted they're good right now. When
Yeah.
eventually things do go bad, and they are.
They just won
the
the
Cubs
championship
again
a couple years ago, right?
3 years ago.
Yeah. They broke the curse.
4 years
They
ago.
lifted the curse. Yeah.
Yeah, but they shouldn't. I'm mad that the White Sox did it back in the early '90s, because we had one of the classic stadiums
Yeah.
that we got rid of.
Okay.
They shouldn't do it just for their it brings fans. It keeps people in the seats because it is a historical stadium that
Landmark,
people
yeah.
want to see.
Okay. Right on.
So
Just to
Respect it.
Yeah, closing up on Cubs watch, we'll fit this in here, and that is because he played for the Cubs, and that's rest in peace, Bill Buckner.
Rest in peace.
Yep,
R.I.P.
he was career 300 guy, played 22 years.
Yeah, I got it. I got some
Go ahead.
interesting stats.
Dan,
for,
hit
Bill.
the facts.
You take this, Dan, and take it.
So yeah,
take it home.
So R.I.P. to Bill. He battled what is it called? Lewy body's disease, I believe it is. Lewy body's dementia. So he had a different form of dementia that's like right behind Alzheimer's. And he's been dealing with that for a little while now. But granted, I was surprised by the lack of all-star appearances. He only had one through his 22-year career, and he won a batting title. But it was a fairly illustrious career just for the longevity factor of it. Played 22 years. He played in over 2,500 games. Had 2,700 hits, almost 498 doubles. Wasn't a big home run guy. He only finished with 174 overall, but 1,200 RBIs, 183 steals. He actually was fairly fast in his early career for a first baseman, which is surprising. And he always hit around, early in his career, he always hit around 300. It wasn't until the back end where, the average started to drop into the twos. Finished overall career 289. Wasn't a big walker, so his OBP was only 321. OPS, he finished at 729. So all around the board, it's just he was a very serviceable. If you don't want to call him an all-star or Hall of Famer, that's one thing. But the dude was serviceable.
Yeah.
For a long time. It's like a dude that you just want on the squad, good veteran guy.
Yeah. And that's a guy that gets a bad rap.
Gets a very bad rap, which leads us into our biggest piece of shit of today.
Today's biggest piece of shit.
Today's biggest piece of shit.
What the fuck is this piece of shit?
Is, and as we
Sports
always...
media.
The sports media, thank you. This happened yesterday when I saw in the news that he died. I was watching, it was one of the sports talk shows.
Yeah.
And I really hope that Bill Buckner's career isn't defined and his legacy isn't defined by one play.
Because it has been up to this point.
It has been. His entire, if you guys don't know, okay,
They do.
Bill Buckner has one play in his career that really defined everything. Yeah. And they say on all these shows, we don't want him to be defined by one play. And then right after they say that, they show
That play.
the one play. So obviously, today's biggest piece of shit has to be the
Sports media.
The sports media.
You damn.
Because they just keep saying that they don't, and we at this show, we don't want to ruin Bill Buckner's legacy.
No, but at the same time, seeing as how we are sports media.
Here's the clip.
Show you.
So, R.I.P. Bill Buckner. Fuck the sports media. We're today's biggest piece of shit.
God damn it.
Like, subscribe, comment.
Hey, Ryan, thank you so much for being out here. Thank you for coming out on Grip or Rip at number 7.
Oh, it was a pleasure,
We
man.
appreciate you, man. It was a good time.
We'll definitely bring it back for some more hot topic debate.
We've
man,
got a
I
little
gotta come for
We got a
more of
little
this.
short list. So as we keep going, we'll bring you back, and we're all gonna grow, dude.
Yeah, I'd love to come back
You know
for
what
more
it's about.
episodes and, speak sports and life, everything.
Awesome, bro.
Always
Thank
a
you
good
so
time.
much. Thank you. Peace out.
Guys.
Have a good one.